The law of attraction definitely works, but it requires a deeper understanding. Many people are familiar with the law of attraction, now due to the popularity of the book and movie, The Secret. Although movies like The Secret are an excellent primer for introducing people to universal laws, the law of attraction is just one of the 12 universal laws and cannot work alone.
As we start to understand this and as we start to dig into these laws, then everything in our life starts to shift.
Some of them may be applied to what we can see and touch and experience every day, while others may refer to something that isn't of the physical realm.
These laws are based on metaphysical, philosophical, and quantum physics principles, which have been in function since the beginning of time.
As you get involved in these laws, each one of them brings a specific message. And as you bring your mind in harmony with these laws, your whole life is going to change.
Understanding that these 12 laws work alongside all the other laws in the universe, let me explain to you what those magical laws of the universe are and how they actually work.
Number 1.
The law of divine oneness.
Firstly, the fundamental principle of this law is that
We are all one.
There is one word I love that I believe sums up this law nicely. Namaste.
everything. That means that every person's energy is connected to the universe, but also to the energy of all other people on Earth.
All life comes from one source. In other words, all things are connected. We are all one.
If it is all one mind, everything is happening in right reason and right accord, right? Like whatever is going on, we may not be able to understand it from our perspective, but from the largest mental perspective, it may make perfect sense.
Learn how to see and realize that everything connects to everything else. Leonardo da Vinci.
Everybody knows that!
We are all energy connected throughout ourselves and affecting each other every moment.
This law is important to understand because it sets the basics of how people should look at everything that surrounds them.
The macro universe is a living organism that continually receives and gives energy in creating a material reality.
The law of divine oneness states that
once somebody has mastered this pattern of thinking, there's nothing he can't manifest and focus his energy on.
Number 2.
The law of vibration.
The main goal of this law is to help us realize that
Everything moves, nothing rests, okay?
each sound, every thought, every feeling and emotion, and most importantly,
This table,
has a unique vibrational frequency.
now think about this,
everything around us is defined by the frequency that matter vibrates at.
okay?
Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way.
Okay? We call it wood because of the speed the energy is vibrating at. We call this paper because of the speed it's vibrating at, okay?
Everything is energy, and that is all there is to it. Albert,
Gravity will get too strong!
This table is made of wood. The same energy that we call paper used to be called wood, okay?
And we can influence that frequency by various processes in order to rearrange the structure of the matter an object is made of.
Okay?
this is not philosophy. Einstein. This is physics.
This way, we can create different materials and objects. So technically, we can do that with anything, even matter that isn't necessarily within our reach yet.
Okay?
So technically, energy all around us is the same, and it is all connected.
Number 3.
The law of action.
This may be the most action-oriented law of them all.
This rule states that you must facilitate the other laws with inspirational action.
Just like the name says,
We need to exercise action.
the law is a call to literal action. The law of action refers to the actions one needs to take in order to be able to manifest whatever he desires.
Affirmations and visualizations do a tremendous job, but without consistent action from your part, your goals will become dreams and regrets for not living life to the fullest.
Okay?
You have to actively do something in order to make them come true. That's because wishful thinking can only get you this far. And also, the more action you take toward making your dreams and projects a reality, the more the universe will act in your favor.
Number 4.
The law of correspondence.
Correspondence is embodied in the statement,
As above, so below.
lot of people may have heard the expression, mainly because it's so frequently used in prayers in different religions all across the world. As above, so below.
What you think, feel, and say to yourself and believe on the inside brings the circumstances, people, and life situations in your external reality.
It is also used sometimes to explain that the world itself is simply a form in which the universe sees itself and tries to rationalize its own existence.
Number 5.
The law of cause and effect.
The law of cause and effect refers to the fact that you will always get the correspondent of what you're giving.
With every thought, feeling, and action, you shape your reality accordingly.
I'm by winning. I win here and I win there. Now what?
Maybe one of the simplest laws out there. This law applies to everything that a person does in order to obtain anything.
You are in charge of the process.
Newton's third law of motion stating that
For action, there is an equal and opposite.
any action has an opposite and equal reaction.
That's equal and opposite.
Indeed.
And you attract exactly what you believe yourself worthy of receiving.
If you're not happy with what you're getting, you better focus on what you're giving.
You want love and understanding. Give it to others unconditionally.
I love you, Mr. Peabody.
Another important lesson that can be derived from this law is that there is no point in blaming anyone else for the results you're getting.
No more blaming of external events and playing the victim mentality.
Sure, your energy can be influenced by external events or other people, but it's up to you to use your energy efficiently.
Let's focus instead on taking responsibility for our lives.
Number 6.
The law of compensation. This law is the reaction of the universe when we apply the previous law.
The law of cause and effect.
The law simply states that each person will receive what they deserve, and not more.
We receive blessings and abundance as rewards from money, love, gifts, love, friendships, love, creativity, love, to fear, lack, fear, envy, fear, jealousy, fear, or victim mentality, fear.
The amount of money or good you receive is going to be in direct ratio to the need for what you do, your ability to do it, and the difficulty there is in replacing it.
Success means not only money, but abundance in all forms coming towards us as a response to our deeds.
Basically, the law states that you receive exactly what you need in order to fulfill what you want, but only if you know how to do it.
Number 7.
The law of attraction is a law of the universe.
Building on the law of vibration,
The most famous of the 12 universal laws is the law of attraction.
The only thing you can attract to you are the things you're in harmonious vibration with.
The law states that all matter, our feelings, words, and actions are energies that attract same energies.
this law states that we can only attract that which we are connected to through our vibration frequency.
Whatever beliefs you hold right now is what attracts your present life circumstances.
In popular culture, some may hear that two or more people are vibing. That means that their frequencies are in sync and that they have attracted each other using them.
When you put a thought such as, "This person is mean,"
He hates me.
you will attract exactly that mean attitude from that person or somebody else.
But that doesn't mean that people can't get different things if they want them. The whole idea is to know what you actually want and adjust your vibration accordingly.
You cannot change the world, but you can change your perception of it.
Number 8.
The law of perpetual transmutation of energy.
That means energy is always moving into form.
This law is very tightly linked to the creative process.
Energy is in constant motion, and all energy eventually manifests.
The energy that creates the idea in someone's mind will, eventually, move into the physical world. That's because energy will always try to manifest itself.
All of us have within ourselves the ability to change our life conditions at any given moment.
And because energy is always transforming and moving at different vibrations and frequencies, that means that it will find a way of representing what the person has thought of at one point.
This law also states that you have the power to change your life. Higher vibrational energies consume lower energies, so if you don't like the path you are on, change it.
Number 9.
The law of relativity. Everything's relative. This room that I'm in is neither big nor small until I relate it to something else.
All is relative to the perception that you have
Everything's relevant.
regarding the situation that you're in.
Many people associate this law with Albert Einstein.
I'm walking here.
He demonstrated that different objects affect the space-time continuum depending on their size. But that is a theory. The law
Of relativity,
refers to roughly the same thing, but with the energy that you put out. But with the energy that you put out.
Energy that you put out.
That means that the more important something is to you, the more energy you will use to manifest it for you.
Everything's relevant.
this law teaches that every soul will face some challenges. It's what you do with those challenges that defines you and determines what you become.
Everything's relevant.
Also, the more energy you put out, the more the universe will be inclined to act in your favor.
You can fall under the pressure or rise above and allow your trials to strengthen you. Looking at our life here on Earth as the totality of our existence makes us fearful, limited, and weak.
Everything's relevant.
Fearful and weak, we lose awareness of the bright light we carry within our own being. We forgot our power and our connection to the higher consciousness that we are part of and that can totally support us.
Relativity. Everything's relevant. Everything's relevant.
Number 10.
10. The law of polarity, also called the law of opposites.
You know, the law of polarity decrees that everything has an opposite. There's an inside and an outside.
This universal law states that every single thing in the universe has its own opposite.
Then you have the law of polarity. Now, the law of polarity decrees that everything is both bad and good, and yet nothing is either bad nor good.
Your perception of the present moment, the now, is what gives the event reality.
Everything is both good and bad. It's all a matter of perception.
And even if it is bad now, it can turn into something great.
So what somebody considers harmful or bad or toxic,
Can't do this anymore.
another person may perceive as the most beautiful and useful thing in the world.
Think of all those moments when a perceived negative event proves to be the best thing that happened to you.
It all depends on how you choose to view a certain situation that makes it good or bad. That means that you can use either bad energy or good energy.
Number 11.
The law of rhythm.
The law of rhythm affects everything. Well, it's a flow. It's up and down.
All energy vibrates and moves according to its own rhythm. These rhythms establish cycles and patterns.
It's a change of the seasons. The night into day, the day into night. The tide goes out, the tide comes in.
Each season has its own purpose and function, but as a vital part of the full circle.
See, the law of rhythm impacts everything. You're not always going to be on a high. You'll go into a low.
There is a time for transformation and a time for growth.
When you go into a low, know that you're going back into a high. That's a flow of life.
Everything has a meaning and a purpose in your world.
After periods of sustained effort, we need periods of rest in order to face other obstacles again.
And when you understand and accept that, you will realize that no coincidences are happening, only synchronicities.
That's why it's important to understand rhythm and how it impacts our lives and energy levels.
Number 12.
The law of gender,
Isn't a reference to something regarding sexuality. It refers to the fact that everything has two sides to it.
Everything has a feminine, yin, and a masculine, yang, energy.
The gender law says that the feminine and the masculine are equal and balance themselves out.
And the union of these two principles gives birth to everything in creation, including us.
Also, because it manifests on all planes, that means that everything has two sides to it. Think of how any coin from any country has two sides to it. It still has the same function and value. It just has that intrinsic duality to it.
Our task is to balance the masculine and feminine energies within us in order to achieve self-mastery. Self-mastery. These were the 12 universal laws.
Knowing the laws is just part of the entire process. Using them is where it gets really interesting.
If you learn to use them and combine all of them, you can manifest everything in your life and become a co-creator with the universal consciousness.
Firstly, you have to understand that each law has its own importance. You cannot substitute one idea for the other, and you can't choose which ones you respect and use and which ones you don't. They all play an equally important role in helping you achieve your goals.
Manifestation is a vibrational alignment with that part of you that was already created and became that which you asked for. the moment you asked it.
Secondly, these laws are not something you can just use whenever you want to, and then store away until the next time you need some help. Manifesting and using your energy towards a goal is a full-time job. Full-time job.
J-O-B.
Full-time job.
And therefore need a period of incubation and growth before we see them taking form in our physical reality. This is crucial for achieving our goals since most of the time we become impatient too soon and sabotage our results by abandoning our desires right before the opportunity to succeed would have arrived.
That means that respecting these laws takes commitment, so you'd better be sure that you want what these principles have to offer. They're kind of like a diet. You can't just quit because you're not losing weight fast enough or have cheat days or go off at every time it seems to get a little difficult.
Eating just makes everything better.
All of our desires need our determination, patience, and trust in order to manifest.
This is something that has to be done properly for it to work, and it can take a long time. Life and everything about it doesn't just happen. Everything is ruled over by a set of guiding principles that have been confirmed over time as being true. This is why it's important for anyone wanting to have a successful and happy life to understand these principles or laws.
Meditation is a means that many use to connect their energy to the source, and as a result, they maintain higher frequencies and a sense of connection throughout the day.
It's just like learning the rules of a game. It may seem quite boring at first, but your satisfaction when you win using those rules in your favor will be infinitely greater. Using those rules in your favor will be infinitely greater.
If you feel good and believe it,
learn and use these laws is to finally understand that manifesting your wishes using your energy isn't anything magical. It has nothing to do with luck or with chance.
If you feel good and believe it, then it can show up into your life in a matter of hours or days.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Because of the speed it's vibrating at, okay?
These were the 12 universal laws.
Thank you for telling me.